Welcome to your TNA IMPACT Wrestling review for January 16th, 2015. I am Jake Barton. I am the host of tonight's show. Welcome into your TNA News YouTube channel review. The show kicked off. It was a nice little replay of last week's show. Got me pumped up, Recapped Joe, Loki, and Eric Young turning heel, everything. I liked that. Then the camera pans. Josh Matthews is, talking about, they're going to be bringing a new model to TNA. There's going to be cameras everywhere. I liked that. Taz was smoking a cigar. That was awesome. And then they cut to a Bobby Roode backstage promo from earlier on in the week. And he said, there's nothing more important to me than the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And last week, Eric Young took that away from me. Why? I don't know, but I'm going to get to the bottom of it. And I'm going to face Eric Young this week, and that would later be turned into a no disqualification match. MVP Samoa Joe, Loki, and Kenny King come out. MVP said, you can't keep a good man down. You can't keep a good man down. As soon as you would laugh at my demise, I switched gears, changed lanes, and bam, MVP is right back in the driver's seat. From the time I came to TNA, I knew it was me against the world. Actually, from the time I began the wrestling business, I knew it was me against the world. Basically, he says, the reason I chose to go with Loki and Samoa Joe is because I've been driving 500 miles with these guys since we were in the Indies for just a hot dog and a handshake. And he dubs the new group the Beatdown Clan, and then brings out Eric Young. Alright, so EY, I liked this. He came out with a Bobby Roode shirt on, the It Factor shirt, and his haircut looks similar to Bobby Roode's. This was hilarious. I still prefer the beanie look, but he shook hands with MVP, and he basically told the fans, he said, your opinions don't matter, and he says, well, the truth's a funny thing, because, I've feuded with MVP over the past few years. This man helped Lashley take away the world title from me, but my own brother, Bobby Roode, wouldn't even give me a title shot after I gave him a title shot, talks about that. And he says, basically it's because Roode was afraid I'd beat him. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of EY, but I like him in this capacity because he's a good heel, in my opinion. Basically, MVP grabs the mic again and says, I planted a small seed in EY, and it blossomed. Then he announces Lashley to come out. Lashley's not here, though, so Kurt Angle comes out, and he says, EY, you're going to pay for your sins, because Bobby Roode is going to kick your ass. And he says that, he can make every single person in that ring tap out, but MVP says, you don't want none of the BDC. Roode decks Samoa Joe with the right hand, but security rushes out to separate Angle from the BDC. This sets up Samoa Joe versus Kurt Angle. Samoa Joe would go over with the rear naked choke. I can't remember how to pronounce it though. It's like the Kojina clutch or something, but it's a rear naked choke. After the match, EY, MVP, Kenny King, and Loki come down and they begin to beat down on Angle. Hence the term Beatdown Clan. But Bobby Roode runs out with a steel chair and the BDC retreats. After the commercial break, Bobby Roode is sitting in the middle of a ring in a chair talking about, he's like, the BDC, you've gone too far, and Eric Young, I heard you flapping your gums earlier tonight. You ruined a 15-year friendship just to cost me the TNA championship. And let me tell you something, everything you said was a bunch of bullshit. That was awesome. Bobby Roode is intense, and Bobby Roode's the man. Roode calls, he says, this wrestling ring is my home, and tonight we're in NYC, so I'm here for some payback, and he's going to make EY pay for what he's done. This was like the first 40 minutes of the show or something. This was a really good way to kick off the show. Then we saw a preview for Unlocked. Magnus was basically just talking about his career. He said he's a free agent now. He's got to do what he's got to do for his kid. Talks about his dad being a rugby player. I will be watching Unlocked, and I definitely will be taking notes of it, but I don't want to say I'll have a review of it, but if I definitely think it's worth it, yeah, I will come on here and review it for you guys, let you guys know, hey, look, this is what the show's like. So, we'll see, but I think it looks exciting, because I'm a sports fan, and it's supposed to have, like, stats and numbers and stuff, and that kind of excites me. I look forward to that. Rockstar Spud is shown backstage talking to JB. He says, JB, look, you never need to get involved in anything again. But JB says, look, EC3 is an insane jackass. And he says, look, my hair's going to grow back, but EC3 is going to get what he has coming through him. So the Revolution come out, they're up on the balcony to watch the next match, which is Matt and Jeff Hardy versus the Wolves. The winner gets to face the Revolution. I think like next week or at Lockdown or something. Basically, the Hardys went over with a Twist of Fate and Gutbuster combo on Eddie. But Jeff Hardy hit a 6 Swanton on Eddie Edwards while he was attempting to pin Matt earlier on in the match. I liked it. I liked this match. Good pace, good tag team match. The Hardys win again. Graham had a Feast or Fired promo, and he basically just told people to stay the hell away from him. And he says he's not going to get fired, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that. MVP and Kenny King are backstage talking about, no, there's no need to worry about Lashley right now. He's a TNA champion. And then EY basically shows him and says, look, I'm going to kick Bobby Roode's ass. And then MVP and Kenny King are like, dude, that dude is crazy, which he is. Alright, now this was hilarious. EC3 and Tyrus take over like the control booth or something of the state, and basically they're controlling the cameras, right? He demands, he's like, put the camera on Jeremy Borash or else I'm gonna fire you. So he puts the camera on Borash, and he's talking, quote-unquote, talking to JB through his headset, and he's like, you have 30 minutes to make a decision. You can either accept a match with me, or else I'm gonna make a decision for you. This was hilarious. Like, I love EC3. EC3's the man. Lashley would then be shown arriving to the arena. He looks kind of pissed off. More on that later. So, Eric Young versus Bobby Roode in a no DQ match. Eric Young countered a Roode bomb with raking Roode's eyes. He threw him into a turnbuckle that had a steel chair in it. And Eric Young would ultimately go over with a pile driver on a steel chair towards Roode. After the match, MVP and Kenny King came out. MVP unapologetically apologizes to Bobby Roode. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, you have to go to the hospital. And then he says, hey, Lashley's here tonight, so... Basically, it was just a public service announcement to let the fans know that Lashley was there. Austin Aries had a backstage promo, and he basically said that Loki can't fight his own battles, and that that the BDC has strength in numbers. But he says, hey, when you back me into a corner, I get really dangerous. So I liked that. Then we saw Brooke Tessmacher backstage promo. There was like 20-something segments on the show. That was really good. I liked seeing that, by the way. But Brooke, she basically said Robbie's nothing but a New Jersey douchebag and that she carried him to the Amazing Race because Robbie, he's a pussy. That's basically what she said. She didn't use those exact words, but that's basically what she said. Brooke and Taryn, Terrell versus the Beautiful People. The Bromans were at ringside. Velvet Sky rolled up Brooke for the win. Brooke and Robbie they had multiple encounters during the match. Robbie was distracting her before the match. Brooke tried to attack Robbie before the match and everything. But after the match, Awesome Kong showed up, takes out the Beautiful People. This was fucking hilarious. DJ Z gets into the ring and starts yelling at her, and he's like, burr, 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 and then she choke slams him. But then Havoc comes out, but before anything can happen, security separates Awesome Kong and Havoc. This is going to have a lockdown match. Could you imagine these two in a steel cage? They're both like 10 feet and a half tall and weigh like 8,000 pounds. This is going to be awesome. That's going to be a really good match. Alright, so EC3 is backstage. He tells Borash, he's like, hey, your time's up to make your decision. Let me know. JB's like, hey, I'm not a wrestler, I'm an announcer. But EC3 says, hey, you're not just an announcer, you are TNA. So basically, he says, no one respects you, and let's be honest, why should they? And JB's like, you want to fight, bro? So basically, this just sets up a match for next week between EC3 and JB, which is gonna be kind of interesting. Manic, I put security here, but it's actually a few camera guys. Manic runs into a few camera guys backstage. Basically, ushers them into a room with James Storms and Koya. Koya is Mahabali Shera, I think. The Shera guy. Anyway, and he basically says, Koya has found the revolution, he's found me, and next week we're gonna unleash him. So that'll be good. Josh Matthews and Taz would be backstage like, wow, we can't wait for that. But then they had a little video package explaining what Feast or Fired was, which I liked. Alright, Low-Key versus Austin Aries. This is the main event. X Division title match. The BDC was at ringside. Aries made Low-Key tap out, but the referee was distracted by Joe and MVP. He had the last chancery on him. Aries then decks MVP and Joe with right hands, knocks him off the apron, and hits him with a suicide dive. But Low-Key would take advantage and go over with a key crusher. Now, Lashley is walking towards the ring. They go to commercial break. He's backstage walking towards the ring, so he's not like out there yet. But then after the commercial break, the BDC's in the ring, MVP, EY, Joe, Kenny, and Low-Key. MVP says, we have the company under control, because everyone wants to be like us, and then he brings out Lashley. MVP looks at the fans and says, look, take out your pictures, or take out your cameras to take a picture, because everyone in the ring is a winner. Because, let's be honest, you guys aren't used to that, because you are the home of the Jets. So this would start up a Jets, 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 Jets chant, which if you don't watch football, that's the chant the Jets fans do, which is kind of self-explanatory. But, basically, MVP goes around and says, look, this title belongs to the whole BDC, and Lashley's like, wait a minute, it belongs to me. But MVP says, look, you owe everyone thanks for this title. Lashley says, I'm not about this life, and MVP basically says, look, without us, you'd be shucking and jiving and sneaking gospel music somewhere else. Shots fired. And, Lashley's like, look, get your hands off me. MVP then would say, okay, we get it. I respect you because over in that other company, you took me under your wing and you taught me some stuff. So go ahead and go live the life you want, basically. But then Low-Key just starts killing Lashley with these kicks to the knee, and the whole BDC just beats down Lashley. MVP takes the TNA World title and hits Lashley over the head with it, and basically he steals the Heavyweight Championship and says that the championship belongs to the BDC with a voice crack in there. When he was saying, the BDC! That's like how he said it, his voice cracked. It was hilarious. Go back and watch it. I thought it was a good show. I'm not going to say it was great. There was definitely a few things I would have done differently. I'm not a fan of Lashley not being in the BDC. I would have liked to see him stay. But, oh well. Can't have everything you want, and clearly they wouldn't just do it. They've got a reason to do it. But I'm going to give the show a 6 out of 10. I thought it was a really good show, and I gotta give props to TNA for this, man. This was a really good show. And let me know what you guys thought. Like the video below, subscribe, follow me on Twitter. All that will be down in the description below at Jake_YoungGun. And go to TNAnews.com for articles. I just put up a Gunner article, and there's a lot of other articles about new releases in TNA and all that stuff. Check that out, guys. Until next time, peace.